Now, before we move on to something called the revenue function, let's do one more simple example with a cost function right here. So now, to interpret this, we've got c of x equals 415x plus 5,200. So 5,200, of course, is the fixed cost, and the unit cost, or variable cost, I'll write VRBL cost, is the number 415. So, unit cost, I'll just write it underneath this, is $415. That's the cost of producing each item. And then the fixed cost is $5,200. So, what we're asked to find next is the cost of producing 600 units. So if we're producing 600 units, that means X is, the quantity is 600. So we just need to find out what C of 600 is. So it's going to be $415 times 600 plus $5,200. And that turns out to be, if you plug it into a calculator like I did, you get $254,200. The price of producing 600 units. The cost, I should say. How many systems, let's see, the function, this should actually say items, I think would be a better word here. How many items are produced if the production cost for 1 week, and I guess in case I didn't emphasize it, this is a weekly cost function. Usually it's monthly, but this one is weekly. So how many items are produced if the production cost for 1 week is this? Well, this is going to be our C of X. That number right there. And we're just going to use the same formula we used right up here. So we get 97,330. That's the C of X, the cost. They're giving us that. So that's going to be equal to 415 times X plus 5,200. So if we subtract 5,200 from both sides, subtract 5,200, it'll go away. Subtract 5,200 from the left-hand side, we get 92,130. Is equal to 415 times X. So we'll divide both sides by 415 to get X by itself, X being the quantity, and we get X equals, I'll write that down, 92130 over 415, which is equal to 222. That's how many items would be produced to get a production cost of $97,330. Okay, that's pretty much all there is to know about the cost function. The next function is even easier to remember. The next function we need to remember is this, the revenue function. If you remember, a revenue function is a function that says how much your revenue is going to be based upon how many items that you produce. So, the revenue function is very simple. So the revenue function gives the total income or revenue for the sale of X items. Example, the local sporting goods store has a sale on baseball caps, $9.25 each. What would the revenue function be? Well, I use a capital R for the revenue function, R of X, where X is the number of baseball caps that are sold, equals 9.25X. That's it. $9.25 times the number of hats that are sold. So if X is 0, if you produce no hats and sell no hats, then R of 0 would become 9.25 times 0, which is 0. No hats, no money. So if R is 1, if X is 1, then R of 1 would be $9.25. That's the price of selling, the income or revenue from selling one hat. Okay, after selling 120 caps, what was the revenue for the store? Well, the revenue from 120 hats is 9.25 times 120. Again, 120 is the quantity, 120 hats, $9.25 each. And let's see, if I multiply that out, I get 1110. 1,110. And for the last part of this problem, if the store sold this much, 471.75 worth of caps, then how many caps did they sell? Well, we can use the same formula. R of x would be this number right here, that they're telling us R of x. We'd have 471.75. That's equal to 9.25x. So x is the number of hats that are being sold. So all we need to do is divide both sides by 9.25. And whatever this number is on the left, if we were to plug that into a calculator, we would get x equals 51 caps. All right, number 7. This is kind of generalizing what we just did. It's a formula we need to memorize. If a company sells its products for, and that's a little s for sale, or sale price maybe. If each product sells for s dollars, then the revenue function is simply R of x equals s times x. X is the quantity, as always, and S is the sales price per unit. So here's a formula we should remember. All right, let's look at a fairly simple definition. Okay, the blank point occurs when a company's costs are equal to the company's revenue. So think of that as I brought in $1,000 in revenue, but it cost me $1,000 to produce everything that I sold. That would be a break-even point. No profit, no loss. I'll sometimes call that a BE, or a BE point, an abbreviation. To find this, what we're going to do is we're going to set the cost function, set it equal to the revenue function. Our costs for the week or for the month, whatever it is we're talking about, I'll say for the month, the costs for the month are equal to the revenue for the month. Set them equal to each other and find out that break-even number, sometimes called the break-even quantity. So, real easy example. If we have this revenue function, 189 times 0.95 times x, that means that each item sells for $189.95. And then we have this cost function, which says it costs $99 to make each item. And then there's a fixed cost of $1,250 per month. We want to find the break-even point. So all we do is set R of x equal to C of x. So if we're setting R of x equal to C of x, what does that mean? Well, R of x is 189.95x equals the cost function, C of x, is 99x. I'll leave off the 0.00, plus 1250. The only variable in this is an x, so we're able to solve for it. We'll be able to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 99x from both sides. On the right-hand side, that's easy. We get 1250. Oops. And on the left-hand side, we get 90 90.95x. So we're going to divide both sides by 90.95 to get x by itself. So this is x. X is this fractional value here, which means if we plug it into the calculator, we find out that that's 14. So what this tells us in this very simple example is that the company that has this revenue function and this cost function, if that company produces and sells 14 items, it's going to exactly break even. So 15 items means it would have a profit, but 13 items or any number less than 14 would mean the company has a loss for that month.